Hey, Brian, how's it going? Oh, yeah, Brian's not here. Nothing important. Episode 15, interview with Rhea Seehorn. She plays Kim Wexler on Better Call Saul. Music by the Alex Hoffer Band. And our buddies Matt and Fink in studio. Let's go.
You're listening to Nothing Important. Please enjoy the show.
Nothing Important Podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Audible has 150,000 audiobooks that you can download on your iPad, your Android, whatever you listen to audiobooks on, you can download it there. And this is typically where I put in some plug for a book to show you that you can get that for your free trial. And I didn't do that, Dave.
Okay, so go read The Prince's Boy.
Okay, yeah. So
that's going to be our go-to if you don't have a plug.
Okay, so once again, I think we said this for another episode that's coming down the pike. But Dave actually edited a lot of audiobooks that are sold through Audible, right?
Yes. I have had my fill of vampire novels and beastie erotica.
So, if you're into vampire
bestiality erotica?
Technically, yes.
Sweet.
It is animal things banging chicks.
So if you're into any of that, go to our website, www.nothingimportantpodcast.com, click the Audible link, click through, and make sure to get your free trial. Singing Rolling by Limp Bizkit?
Yeah, pretty much.
And Fink, you actually went to a Limp Bizkit?
In parentheses, air raid vehicle. Let's get it right.
And you went to a Limp Bizkit concert?
Yeah, I did. I was in high school.
Yeah? How was there just like red hats everywhere? Red hats and shitty goatees
There were
everywhere?
a lot of backward hats, and there was a lot of douche. It smelled of vinegar when you walked in. But it was at the Peoria Civic Center. System of a Down opened and got booed off stage.
What?
Yeah. It was before they had their album out.
Oh, I was going to say, because I saw them at the Civic Center with Mudvayne canceled in Peoria, which was the best show ever.
So you went to a Limp Bizkit concert, and who got booed off stage?
System of a Down got booed off stage, and then second was Redman and Method Man. You know, so they did a rap
they
show.
had that whole thing.
Right.
Yeah, and then Limp Bizkit was the, finale, obviously.
So that's how bad music was back then, as Limp Bizkit was the show. What the fuck were we thinking back then?
Hey, man, $3 Bill Y'all is actually a really good album.
You like that album?
Yeah. It's different. There's nothing that sounds
we
like
used
that.
to, when Dave and I had, our band, we kind of did the rap rock thing, but for us, it was always haha, this is funny, we're doing rap rock.
Well, it was comedy, rock, rap, or crap.
Crap, right.
Well, it was definitely crap. No one
But the
argued
thing
with you.
is, because I always talk about, I hate my daddy music. You know what I mean? Music that's intentionally angry. It's my second hated music next to these pussy emo bands that sing an entire album's worth of songs about how they pine for the popular girl in high school. I fucking hate that shit. So Limp Bizkit to me, even back then, just seeing this chubby balding asshole in a red baseball cap, act like he was the biggest badass ever. I'm like, dude, you're fucking 5'2". Hey, Fred Durst, I don't know if you know this, but you're fucking Fred Durst. It's not like you're some big thug or gangbanger.
Well,
and by the way, if you're Fred Durst and want to come on the Nothing Important podcast,
I never saw Limp Bizkit, but I definitely saw Fred Durst perform with Steel Panther at the House of Blues in L.A. And he was Oakland Raiders gear.
Really?
He had a Richard Seymour Sherman jersey, whatever. I don't know, one of the linemen, and a Raiders cap. And Steel Panther was like, "Hey, Fred Durst is here," and I'm like, "Oh, what?"
Wait, did they say that on stage?
Yeah, they're they saw him in the crowd.
So Steel Panther's like, "Hey, Fred Durst is here."
They're like, "Fred Durst is here." They're like, "You want to come do a song with us?" And I was like, "Is this real?" And then he gets up on stage, and I was like, "That kind of looks like Fred Durst." And as soon as he started singing, yeah, whatever, I was like, "Oh God, it's Fred Durst." He looked like Brett Favre after he retired.
Brett Favre is freaking ripped right now, man. If you see him, he looks like a Axeman.
ripped like muscular, not
Yeah.
ripped, just like drunk all the time. 'cause he's tired.
Brett Favre is a fucking raging alcoholic. And if you're Brett Favre and would like to come on the Nothing More podcast and talk about your raging alcoholic,
You shouldn't be slanderous about him being alcoholic. We don't know that, but he's probably addicted to pills. If I could
Yeah. His brain's a freaking bowl of mashed potatoes right now.
This is what we kind of do here. For those of you listening, it's typically me and Dave, but we have our buddies in studio right now hanging out with us. It's like fucking 12. It's noon, and they already got beers cracked. There's Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Nice. And Matt. Matt, how's it going?
Doing good.
Nice. Was that a fart noise?
Yes, it was. Had to get out of the way. A little nervous.
No fart jokes.
No fart jokes. No dick jokes, no fart jokes.
This is not the morning ride.
Yeah. Vagina jokes are cool.
All right, so I think we got off the subject there. So did you have anything more to add about?
Did we have a subject?
Awesome Limp Bizkit?
No, I mean, it was high school. So
Okay,
I mean, that's
so-
a thing.
well, that's a
Just
good-
let's
that's a
all
good
realize
topic, though.
that it was high school.
That's a good topic, though. Let's talk about that. Okay, so you went and saw Limp Bizkit. What's the Dave looking
Yeah.
back? What's the most
Looking back.
What's the most embarrassing band you ever went to see?
The most embarrassing band I ever went to see? Mm-hmm. I ain't ashamed of any band I've ever gone to see.
Oh, come on now. Yeah, but there's something now where
Van Halen, okay. My first show, not my first musical live performance, was a festival, so I don't count that. My first show to see a specific band, Van Halen 3 with Gary Cherone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Was that a free ticket?
No, well, I guess to
what
me it
radio
was.
station did you win that off of? Were you the ninth caller?
How many times did you have to call?
I was more excited to see Kenny Wayne Shepherd, actually. Yeah, a
seen it.
sober Eddie Van Halen and Gary Cherone.
Sounds like magic.
That's not even Van Halen, though. I mean,
Yeah, no, that's
Not
not.
real
You
life.
need a fucked up Eddie Van Halen and some David Lee Roth up in
Yeah.
that piece. But hey, Alex and Michael were still there and cool. So
I have no idea who that is.
the drummer and the bass player.
Sorry, I don't know Van Halen.
I never saw him
like
to
a
see.
terrible.
Oh, maybe ICP, and maybe I'm a little embarrassed about that concert.
No, I wasn't. Man. I've been to 2 ICP concerts, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says. They were fucking awesome.
First panic attack in my life was at
Yeah.
ICP.
Okay, so years ago, like I'm not like one of them big like like I probably I appreciate ICP as how a lot of like middle-aged men appreciate Kiss. Right? Like I was talking about, like I hate the whole, like, come on. I mean, they're painted like clowns. They're obviously not taking themselves that fucking serious. and like I'm drawn to that kind of music. Like they might be giants, silly ass music. Like I'm a sucker for that shit. You guys
Mariah
all know
Carey,
that, right?
yeah.
And so like that's what
for
like
Christmas is
I
you.
find ICP so ridiculous that it's awesome. It's like how people like Guar,
Right, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, yeah, that's fucking dumb, but come on, that's fucking hilarious. So Dave and I went to an Insane Clown Posse concert. What was that shit? House of Blues?
No, Riviera.
Riviera.
The
And-
Riviera.
Right. And of course, so it's like all these people like rocking out to these 2 fat guys painted like clowns. And, me, I'm like, oh, yeah, let's go where the action is. Like people punching each other. Like, let's go the fuck down there. and
Yeah.
Dave had a panic attack at an ICP concert.
Me personally, when I go to a concert and I know that there's the pit and it's going crazy, I didn't pay $45 to get punched in the face.
That's what my kind of
shit.
thing was.
That's
yeah.
I
shit.
mean, I'm gonna watch the show that's on there and see the visuals and whatever, and I'll get into it and sing the songs along with them and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not trying to split my head open.
Well, that's the thing. That's because I was just like, as I was being basically shoved like horizontally across this crowd because the crowd just, shifts dramatically and it was all packed in. I was just like, I just want to watch the show. Like, I need to get the fuck out of here. I can't see what's going on.
To come back to the Limp Bizkit show real quick, the Peoria Civic
Which
Center.
is a phrase that you really don't hear very often. Let's go back to
Nobody
Limp
goes
Bizkit.
back to a Limp Bizkit show.
It was a phrase I was embarrassed to say. But at the Peoria Civic Center, that's a hockey rink. And
Oh, yeah.
the way that the floor was just covered with probably inch and a half paperboard. Like that's what you walked on. So as people were drinking,
like foam core board they bought at Michael's.
but it was paper because eventually it started kind of getting wet and
like it
people
started soaking up like the
when people had drinks and stuff and would spill on it. So it started kind of getting kind of crappy as the show went on. And eventually when the Limp Bizkit started playing and all that kind of happens and the pits started showing up and oh my God, crazy stuff. Some people thought it was a good idea to lift up one of these sheets and use it for crowd surfing.
Yep.
So, people were on top of this and they're crowd surfing, but now they have a big piece of it.
So they had like a crowd surf board.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah. But now you have a gigantic piece of exposed ice because it's a hockey rink. And within 15 minutes, there was blood all over it from people being packed on the floor, stepping backwards, not realizing there's exposed ice, and then cracking their skulls on it. It was kind of scary, actually, for a bit.
So maybe I take that back. Maybe I do want to go to a Limp Bizkit concert. That sounds hilarious.
I saw I can't remember the name of the show, but it was the Slipknot, Mudvayne, Deftones, American Head Charge thing way back in the day, which Mudvayne canceled their homecoming show. So people were already kind of pissed off. The same thing happened.
Mudvayne played your homecoming dance?
Yes. The Enchantment Under the Sea dance. Marvin Ashley.
That'd be awesome.
That was the sound they were looking for.
Right.
So anyway.
Nothing says awkward teenagers grinding.
It's your cousin Marvin Tarnakian. Serge, it's your cousin. Anyway. So it was pretty much the same exact situation where the patches were coming up and like the ice was exposed, but some girl got up on top of the board. Like there was two across the thing. They started having a stripping contest, and one of them got arrested for public indecency. Apparently.
Oh,
did everybody boo and throw shit at the police? What about you, Matt? What's the what concert would you probably not typically admit to on a podcast that you went to?
This one hurts to say, but Third Eye Blind.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
You like Third Eye
I
Blind?
wanted to step off a ledge, my friend, on that one, but that was a rough concert. I don't know. I look back now, and that was probably the weakest concert I've ever been to, honestly.
Yeah.
I thought they would put on a hell of a show.
I don't know. I don't particularly care for that lead singer. He's too, I don't know, feminine for me. Always whiny.
That's the reason I hate Maroon 5. Well, their music sucks, but that's another reason I hate Maroon 5.
Was he as strung out on meth as his songs allude to?
He looked lively. I don't know. He's so funny to me. But I wanted to get out of there quick. It was a pretty rough show.
We're doing a 3-day tour in 25 minutes.
You know what I love about doing Nothing Important, because Dave and I also do It's All Good Man, Better Call Saul podcast, and we keep to Saul. But it started with Nothing Important. What I loved about it is we set ground rules at the beginning. No religion, no politics, and try not to burn too many bridges. And every fucking episode, we always burn bridges. Like, not that any of these people would ever give a fuck about our shitty little podcast, but it's just kind of funny. We tried to be good. Like, oh, let's make a conscious effort not to shit on people. And so far, we've shit on Fred Durst, American Airlines. We ripped Comcast and asshole.
Yeah, Comcast, they're going to just cancel our service, find out who we are. We shit on everybody.
But going back to concert stories, because I've actually been to 2 ICP concerts, 2 of them. And I think, thank you. I'm a survivor of whatever the fuck they got going on. But one of the best one I went to is me and my buddy Luke. Hi, Luke. Me and my buddy Luke were like right up on the cage up front, just getting pelted with their fucking pop and the eye and all this shit. And the singer Shaggy 2 Dope decides that he's going to run from the back and he's going to crowd surf. And this is at the House of Blues in Chicago. That's why I asked you where we went to one, because I couldn't remember. But I definitely remember this. So he takes a running start, trips over a Faygo bottle, and busts his head right off the cage right in front of me. Oh. And like they didn't stop shit for like 15 fucking minutes, and his body's like folded backwards, like in like the little walk area for the security guards between the stage, until like Violent J, the other rapper, realizes it, and they cut the fucking show. He was laying there for like 15 minutes, just basically drowning in Faygo. But then what was kind of cool about that, because they were touring with like a couple other groups, so obviously they have to call the show because that was like the main act. But what was cool about that is they call the show canceled, and like fans of that, like let's face it, there's a lot of fat fucking dorks that take that shit way too seriously, the juggalos or whatever. But at that concert, when that happened and they called in the paramedics, like all the shit, like mosh pit, like people punching each other, it was like dead silent. And it was like the most orderly exit out of any building I ever saw. It like House of Blues just got dead silent. Everybody filed out nicely with like no incidents. And then it was kind of cool because like the two opening acts, while the guy was being rushed to the hospital, the two opening acts were like right outside the exit doors, like shaking hands and thanking people for coming out, even though they had to call show. So I don't know. I just think that's because like when you think ICP, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, like these fat fucking women, like welfare queens, like fucking painted their faces to go get a job at the DMV or some shit. Yeah, but like
these welfare queens that paint their faces to go get a job at the DMV.
Isn't that what happens at the DMV?
I've never seen I have seen a painted face at the DMV. But, I mean, I would expect that those people are going to work at the mall at the corn dog stand.
Like, the people who go to ICP concerts are the kind of people that make a career out of piercing ears at a kiosk in the mall.
It's lucrative, though. I'm sure it has great benefits, like all the body piercings.
all the fake plastic hot pink diamond earrings that you can muster. I haven't even been in a mall in years. Have you guys even been to a fucking mall?
I only go to the mall when my girlfriend wants to go to the mall. And we go to like 4 shops. And we'll walk around, but every second I hate it. And it's mostly not the stuff that's in the mall that I hate, because there's things to look at and do that. It's the people who are there at the mall to be at the mall. Like their purpose for the day was to go hang out at the mall.
Let's go hang out at the mall.
Not in a cool mall rat's way.
Like not because I need to buy things from various stores, so I'll go to where they're all centrally located. It's I'm going to go hang out at the mall.
I've never been. I can't think of one time in my life, even when I was younger, be like, man, I am going to go to the mall to fucking hang out. This show's mid-show music break is Alex Hoffer with Keep Searching on his Free From Apathy album. For music, bio, and show dates, go to www.alexhoffer.com.
What I wanna know is where we gotta go in such a hurry now. Before it leaves your mind, then you're stuck with time and you can't walk right out that door. We all have tried. Living is the only remedy inside our ego, and it keeps us from finding what we really need is a little bit of love. And I keep on searching, and I keep on searching, but I keep on searching, and I just don't keep on, keep on.
You're listening to Nothing Important.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the Someone Important hotline, Rhea Seehorn. Ray, thanks for being on the show.
That's a very interesting hotline.
Yeah, well, it's the Someone Important hotline.
That's amazing. I don't think I've ever been on that short list, so that's exciting.
Oh, well, we're glad to add you to it. First off, before we start, congrats on a great first season of Better Call Saul.
Thank you. I was so proud of it. We were so proud of it when we were making it, just, and trying to build the best structure you can build in this great, rich storytelling from Vincent Peters, but to then months later get to see everybody receive it, and then they actually really invest in it and have has been just amazing. Just an amazing experience.
Yeah, it seems like you guys have a lot of fun. So I'm sure on set, I know you're working hard, but I can only imagine you probably have a lot of fun as well.
We do, but it's a hardworking crew. It is an amazing crew that are much made up of most of the same people from Breaking Bad. They're kind of a well-oiled machine. But we shoot a lot of exteriors and a lot of on location and practical shots, and so a lot of the night shots are not day for night; they are night, and so there were some very long nights. Bravo and Kirk certainly was a tour de force, unstoppable train. So there was some. You have fun, and even when you are up till 2:00 in the morning shooting, then people get a little batty. But it was a very hardworking but close-knit group of people that were constantly, your downtime, you just started rehearsing another scene that you were doing to see if you could get it better. People almost didn't want to step away from the work, which was its own sort of fun.
Well, good. Breaking Bad ended in September of 2013, and almost immediately, internet rumors and such started swirling about a Saul Goodman ripoff. When about did you audition for Better Call Saul?
Wait a second. Did you call it a ripoff?
I think I did. I meant spinoff. I sometimes speak incorrectly.
I'm like, well, it is Vincent Peters' character.
Right. Here's the thing, Ray. You mentioned you've heard a few of our podcasts, so I'm sure, as you know, sometimes I say dumb things.
And I refuse to correct them because I just like to let it roll.
Oh, good. I mostly say dumb things, so that's fine.
So when about did you start auditioning for Better Call Saul?
Gosh, when was it? Oh, wow. I cannot think of... I'm sorry, I can't... It was like a couple of months before we started shooting, which was June, I think, of last year. And I went in a number of times. The really amazing casting directors, Sharon Bialy, Sherry Thomas, and Russell Scott, that also did Breaking Bad, knew a lot of my work, a larger body of work than anyone has seen, because I've done many monologues for them that never went anywhere. But they were great, and they thought of me, and I had been in for them on a couple of things that just where they asked me to do a lot of different character takes on things, and something out of that made them think that I would be a good fit with Vincent Peter to tell this story. And then I met with them and read with them, and then I met Bob and read with him, and yeah, a couple months later, I needed to move to Albuquerque.
No. So they had you in mind specifically for the Kim character, or did they just know that they wanted to have you on the show, and then they felt that Kim was the best fit for you?
It was for the Kim. It was always for the Kim character, but most of us got different sides, like fake sides, which is just, for anybody that doesn't know, it's called copy or sides, and it's a couple of pages out of a script that are the lines, the parts of scenes that you'll be reading just for the audition. So we all got fake sides and fake character names, so that if any of it got leaked or got out there, people would not really be able to put it together which characters is whose and who's been cast as what. So mine said Beth, and it was not a lawyer. It was like a bunch of, I think I played multiple different characters with multiple different names. And then they would sort of direct you to play these scenes with the characteristics that they wanted Kim to have grafted into those lines. It was cool. It was a really kind of mind-bending, like one of your more difficult but fun like acting workshops or something. It was intensive and just great though to get to leave and know like I've definitely left it on the floor. I've definitely done everything I could do. You know, there was no other way to come at this line.
Well, I would say whatever they did definitely worked because you know the characters and the interaction on the show was pretty fantastic.
Oh, thank you. That's nice. Thank you.
When you were going through casting and such, did you have any idea how important Kim would be in Jimmy's life?
No, none. I did not know. My final audition scene, you know, when AMC and Sony and everybody have to agree to the casting, and Vince and Peter were there, and all of my amazing producers, and your reading with Bob, also somewhat of a chemistry read. And as soon as they're saying that, you get some idea of like, okay, my relationship with the Saul character is some sort of linchpin here. And it was actually, it was the phone call scene where I'm telling him, like, I'm not talking dirty to you, and I think it's like episode 2 or 3, and then I think it's 3, and when he called me in the middle of the night, and there's all this intimacy implied, but there's also some kind of camaraderie about the law and what's ethical and what's not ethical, and gentle ribbing, and then sort of more aggressive ribbing. There's a sexiness and a charmingness, and it was like everything all rolled into one, and you could play it a million different ways. And they did let us play it a lot of different ways, which is fun. And I mean, that's when I sort of was like, I feel like this must be a relationship character with Saul, and it seems like she must be a lawyer. And you just kind of, you know, you played the circumstances they gave you, and then I would kind of each time make up a three-dimensional person that has life that's between the lines, you know, so that it was like, okay, if you have X, Y, Z as your clues, and you work backwards and say, what would make someone say that, or behave this way, or do that, so that you can have the life that comes before you say things, and give yourself a reason to have a reaction to what the other person says.
I find it fascinating that's the scene that you use for the major read, because we Brian and I always looked at that scene as like the penultimate scene between the relationship between Jimmy and Kim, and that's, you know, it raises a lot of questions. So it's very cool that you had all those questions as you were doing it.
Yeah, it was great, and then also more and more I realized these are two people who let their guard down with each other. You know, all of their scenes were like alone, like talking to each other on the phone, or late at night in the nail salon, and you see very different sides of both of them when they are each other's confidants and alone, which was such a really great and beautiful thing to explore, to have that, because we all kind of have that little microcosm where you can just be you. Let it go. And it was really fun. When I did get cast, though, they called. I totally get made fun of this now just because Vince and Peter know it. But my agent had called me when AMC and Sony and everybody agreed that it would be me, and you know, I was thrilled to have even auditioned at that level for all of them. And of course, I wanted the part, but you can't hold your breath or you'll explode, literally and figuratively. So, and they called me, and I was floored, and I was walking down the street, and I was with my fiance, and we were going to dinner, and I just started crying and just burst into tears and was so happy, and makeup running down my face. We couldn't go to dinner anymore, and I'm just running around like a freak on the corner at Venice Beach. And my agent says quickly, she goes, no, hang on, I need to tell you, have to agree to a few things really quickly before we get off the phone. I was like, what? Yeah, what? I already signed away everything. You have to move to Albuquerque, whatever you want. And so she said, well, they're going to release things little by little to, you know, Deadline and various media outlets to say who's been cast, and because you can't tell anyone. And my agent, I adore, and she has an incredible volume in her voice. So my fiance could already hear her anyway, and he can see me crying. I was like, well, he already knows. And she was like, that's fine, but don't tell anybody else. He said, okay, you know, just for a few days. But also when they announce it, when it does come out, you need to just agree with whatever it is, with the way that they put it out to Deadline and everybody else, Hollywood Reporter and all of those places. I said, fine. She said, well, I'm just saying that because they're going to change your name. And so they're going to use the name Beth, and you need to agree that yes, that's you. And I had forgotten at one point my character because I auditioned for a while, and I had forgotten that Beth was one of the names on one of the sides of the characters that I played. So I thought she meant me, that Rhea Seehorn. I need to change my name to Beth. Agree when my mom calls me tomorrow, so it's like, so I thought you didn't get the part? Some girl named, and I was like sad. I was like, wow, so no one will even know. I guess let's just pick some woman named Beth. Or do I have to tell people my name is Beth? And aren't my friends going to go like, no, it's not. What the hell are you talking about? And I'm just going to have to act like I've lost my mind. She was like, it's just for a few days. And so I just agreed. And my fiance, who could hear it all, was like, wait a second, you have to change your name? And then I got all defensive. And I was like, it's fine. That's just in Hollywood. That stuff happens. And it's shut off. Totally thought I had to change my name for 2 days. But I didn't.
Yeah, that's, Dave and I often go back to the scene in the first episode where Jimmy comes out, kicks the crap out of the garbage can, and then you're leaning against a wall, and he takes the cigarette out of your mouth, takes the drag off of it, and hands it back. And the way that they play that, it was super ambiguous, because Dave and I were watching, and we're like, well, who the hell's that? What is, like, you can't just walk up to a stranger and take a cigarette. So she obviously has to be somebody very important. And then, it seems, just as you said, there's a lot of affection between the two of them, but the actual nature of their relationship is kind of left up to the imagination of the viewing audience. And Dave and I on It's All Good Man, we went kind of back and forth in a few episodes talking about it. And then the robot sex voice was brought up, and we're like, whoa! Like,
okay.
So do you think coming up in season 2, do you think that there will be more exploration about maybe like the romantic or like previous romantic feelings that Kim and Jimmy had towards each other?
I can tell you with the utmost honesty that I don't know anything. They're in the writer's room now, and they're not telling me anything. But I can only imagine that they will continue this kind of onion peeling, layering that they do so well with characters. And my character was particularly enigmatic and was just as much about what she didn't say or express as what she did, which was fun to play too. All the times that she chooses not to show all her cards or let her guard down or say something. And I loved playing that. And I loved that they gave us the breathing room in our scenes when it was just Bob and I to play the intimacy that's between the lines. If you know someone that well and you're that close, there's almost nothing that could be said at face value. It's always like has some other context or subtext to you. And I just kept taking clues, like the scene you were talking about, which is one of my all-time favorite scenes I've ever gotten to shoot. And it didn't hurt that it was shot like film noir or an Edward Hopper painting by the brilliant Albert Stowe, our DP. And I was just, I remember just thinking like the same thing you said. You don't take a cigarette out of somebody's mouth and put it back in. Unless you know them very, very well.
Right.
And she doesn't flinch. That's the other thing. And they're explicit with their Arthur Albert. Sorry, the DP. I just put his last name. Like I'm in gym class. I don't know why, but it's Arthur Albert. They're explicit in their stage directions that Kim doesn't flinch when he does that. So it's just amazing. You get very detailed things about your character that are almost like some of the fine brush work without the broad strokes instead of the other way around.
Right.
And you just keep their characters. It feels like they just keep coming more into focus. You're getting a little more detail, and then you realize what's appearing in front of you. But I think it gives them all the freedom in the world to take the characters any way they want to, too. Nothing ever feels like a clever stunt when their characters change. Even the Chuck character in 109 made me cry every time I saw it. I saw it at a panel. I saw it being filmed. I cried every time they shot it. I cried when it came on cable. It's excruciating. And but it wasn't. You were never like, oh, you hid that being a possibility from us just to be clever. It was more like you could go back and watch the whole season and realize if that was absolutely an organic undercurrent with this person the whole time, and it has finally, bubbled over.
Right.
And now everyone can see it. So it's fun learning those things and getting a script and finding out, like, oh, we were in the mailroom together 10 years ago. And they picked me to put through law school and not him. And to get a chance in the firm. And why is that? And what does that do to the relationship? What does it do to his relationship with the firm? And what does it do to his relationship with me? And it was great. So all I can say is I would imagine that they're going to continue that kind of exploration and keep following that. But I don't know anything specific.
Speaking of Chuck, you kind of touched on that a bit. What do you think Kim's reaction to Howard was when he told Kim, that Chuck was kind of pulling all the strings and Chuck was actually the one working against Jimmy? How do you think your character Kim reacted to that?
I thought about that a lot because that reaction would be between that scene and when I go to the nail salon to tell him to take the deal. And he berates me and I just sort of stand there and take it because I don't want to tell him why. I think she is devastated for Jimmy. However, they showed little about what I thought about Chuck prior to that, but she definitely thinks I think she looked up to him, especially as a pillar of the law, and she definitely thinks the firm she's at, that he was such a huge part of, is the right way to go. That's the right path. That's the right road to travel and all of this. But Hamlin, even though she finds out he's not the one behind always thwarting Jimmy, that's not that unusual because every time I tell Jimmy's character to worry about himself and with the billboard scene and don't make it a personal vendetta, it's always in the vein of because you could be something amazing on your own if you let go of these other personal conflicts. She never agrees that Howard's a villain, and I don't think she thought he was. The first time you see her shaken by, so that's how loyalty works, is when he boots her out because she loses the Kettlemans through no fault of her own. And I think that shook her a lot. And so she's really starting to question, in my estimation, like, so what is the good and the bad and the right and the wrong? And, okay, so that's who Chuck is, that I thought was an untouchable pillar of ethics and law. And that's who Hamlin is, depending on if the chips are up, or down. And the person you're calling everyone thinks is like Slippin' Jimmy is the least duplicitous and the most loyal of anybody.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I thought she walked away from, is like shaken, very shaken by somebody trying to mess with your foundation of how you whatever your moral compass is in life. When somebody starts shifting the needle, it's unsettling, but none of it is worth, as you see in 10. She just tells him very simply, and it was written beautifully, that all I say is, I didn't want you hitting your brother. And that was enough for Kim to take whatever abuse he hurled at her.
So, on that same note, what do you think Kim's reaction will be when she learns that Jimmy walked away from the opportunity and the meeting that she set up with the attorneys from Davison, Maine in the season finale?
People ask me that a lot, and I'm not sure. I'm still pondering that. Like, what was she just left there, furious or fuming, or? And I've had a lot of different thoughts on it, and I've gone a lot of different directions. I'm very excited to see where they pick up with that. I think she did go out of her way to make that possibility a reality, and she probably doesn't like being embarrassed. Can not enjoy that in front of the other partners and everything. However, she continually tries to get Jimmy to be able to get wherever he wants and be the best him he can be. And again, in the Billboard episode, you see that she wants him to do what's best for him, but she also smiles when no one's looking at his crazy stunt of having somebody fall off the billboard. So I think it could go in any direction. If she really thinks that he's got to do something else and follow his passion, I don't know. She might be supportive or have a ton more questions, or, like I said, her foundation has been shaken to the point where I'm not really sure what she thinks of his decisions at this point.
Gotcha. We only have a couple minutes left, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but I have to just put this out here. My wife loves Romeo and Michelle's, and you actually played a character named Ashley Schwartz in the ABC Family prequel Romeo for Romeo and Michelle. Do you think that there's going to be any chance of like a third Romeo and Michelle movie, like set in present day, where it really ties the whole universe together?
I don't know, but we should definitely start a petition to Robin Schiff because she is brilliant, the writer and director of that. She's just amazing, and that character was so much fun to play. Just straight up villain with an entirely different set of social norms and ethics that like don't exist, and she doesn't care that no one else gets them. She operates completely by her own standards, and it was just so much fun. And oh my god, Katherine Heigl and Alex Breckenridge were amazing in it, as well as Alexandra, who's now on Transparency, was in it, and Nate Faxon, who's gone on to be brilliant as a writer and an actor. God, we had fun. That was a really fun set. I love hearing that there's a fan of it. Good.
Well, that's good. Well, you know, with the success of Better Call Saul and Kim being such a huge character in that show, hopefully, you know, by the time Better Call Saul wraps up, we can start a petition and we can get that third movie made.
Okay, let's do it.
And if we make it happen, I promise you, Dave and I we'll do a Romeo and Michelle podcast.
Oh,
I'm in.
Well, Ray, thank you so much for chatting with Dave and I today. I hope whatever you're doing.
Thank you, and thanks for your podcast. It's really great. I've loved listening to it. I'm a little behind because I had some tech problems in like the middle chunk of it, so I'm a little behind. But your listeners are so astute, and it's been. I'm beyond grateful that people are invested in the story and the characters, and you know, I had somebody walk up to me on the street the other day that said, "Look, when I started watching, I was like, when are they going to hurry up and get to where Saul is Saul?" And they said, and about midway through the season, I thought, like, well, you don't have to go that fast. You know, they were like, I love watching this man struggle to be good. It became as riveting and heart-wrenching as watching, you know, the sociopath Walter White descend to bad, like he was eaten alive by his ego, you know.
Well, I hope by the time it's all said and done, you know, I hope somebody puts a little bit of thought into Kim Wexler spinoff.
Oh, really?
And we'll do a podcast about that as well.
How will I have time to do Romeo and Michelle and the Kim spinoff? This is, you know, we got to
prioritize. Awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much for chatting with Dave and I, and good luck on season 2. And we can't see what they have in store for Kim next.
Thank you, guys. Talk to you again soon.
All right,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks
It's been a pleasure.
Your customers are gone and your store is on the rocks. Spread around the gas because it's time to torch the sky.